Hey, welcome to the first video of my Grey Knights army building series. This is my new project that I've wanted to do for a while now. I've really been thinking about putting together a new army. I have Blood Angels, I have Tau, I have a little bit of Votan, which was another project that I did, but now I really wanted to create something really unique and have a lot of fun with almost doing a custom chapter. While they're still going to be Grey Knights, I really wanted to make it so that they were really unique and kind of stood out. Not only with painting, but actually the posing and modifications to the models. One of the things I really enjoyed doing, especially in my previous project with doing Blood Angels, I can show you here. This was my, Dante. So while I reposed them and kind of changed a couple of things, it was a lot of fun cutting them up and moving them around. And I really got a unique model out of it, which I'm really, really proud of. And I love putting it on the table. So I wanted to do the same kind of thing with Grey Knights. While I love their models and I love the lore to it, the models are kind of old, right? They have lots of details on them, which makes for like some really fun painting. But the scale of the models is kind of off, just because they're so old. So I've done some research online on how I can true scale them. However, I don't agree with all the ways of doing it. I've seen ones where like you can cut off basically the legs at the hip and kind of extend it that way. But I find for most of the older models, the torso's where it actually needs some love, some lengthening. That way you don't have kind of like a stunted model. So I did it for my Blood Angels. I was working on this. Let's see if I can zoom in for you. Basically, I extended the height of the Terminator, and I was really happy with how it came out. So I'm going to be painting this guy soon, but this was basically an example test for my Grey Knight army coming up. The other thing I really wanted to do is I wanted to start with Castellan Crowe. So he is a model that's recently been updated, and he's been true scaled because he's not quite Primaris. He's not supposed to be, but he has, the better dimensions or the scale between his legs, arms, and torso. So my plan was to kind of go in and repose him, because I don't like, not that I don't like, but I like making models my own, because if I'm going to spend the time to go in and paint it and really put in the effort, I really want to have something unique, and that's something that I did. So I've gone in there. This video is going to be covering kind of how I reposed them, cut up some things, put some clay in there, and sand it down, all that fun stuff. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I went into it kind of blind, where I just opened up the box and went for it. So I'll cut out a lot of the extra stuff, but there was a lot of dry fitting in there. There was a lot of making sure that the pieces went together, and I kind of had to figure out how to build the model at the same time. So hope you like it, and next little bit, enjoy. All right, let's get into this build. I'm gonna start pulling out some pieces and actually looking at the instructions. I had no idea what I was doing going into this, how I was gonna pose them, what pieces go with what. It's just, I started recording and kind of hoped for the best. I had a general game plan on what I wanted to do. I'll go through the result and why I chose what I did at the end of the video. But here I just wanted to talk about the process and my thought process of actually going through this for the first time and trying to figure out what to do. One thing you'll notice when I put the sticky tack on top of that piece to attach the leg, because he's a newer model, he's got nibs that help basically connect the two pieces together. You probably know that if you built any of the newer models lately. However, it makes it kind of a pain in the butt to repose him. So you'll notice me later on in the video, I'll go in and kind of cut those out. For now, because the sticky tack's big enough and I just need it to kind of sit together to understand the shape and the composition of the model, that I'm not worrying about it right now. So one of the two big pieces I wanted to look at for Mr. Crowe here was the legs and the arm. The sword arm is really cool. I'll go through why later on I chose to do what I did. It had I just wanted to change it at the start here. I wanted to do something different. He's such a cool model, and he's a great sculpt that every Castellan Crowe I've seen has been the same. So I wanted to do something a little different with mine. And I also wanted to use him for my true scale for the rest of my Grey Knights. So that when I go through and start building my Strike Squad or my Terminators or anything like that, I had a good reference on the size they should be, because he's not quite Primaris, but he looks almost Primaris. Basically, he looks better than how he, like the old school Marines. So yeah, you can see here that I am shaving that off now because I'm kind of ready to change it up a little bit. I added a little spacer in here with the green stuff. I just used Queen World green stuff, mixed around, dropped in there, to be able to kind of change where the hip is going. I wanted like coming out of the hip to go a little bit more straight rather than down, so he wasn't leaning forward as much. And then here you can see I made a bit of a mistake. I used a little bit too much glue, got on my finger, and then I touched the model and it started making it bumpy. I've done this a couple times. I really try not to. It's really, I hate when it happens. So my suggestion to you would be, if you're building, try not to use too much glue. If you don't know, the Citadel glue, because the plastic glue actually melts the two pieces to stick them together. So if you get some on your finger and then touch your model, you're gonna melt a piece of your model, and then it's gonna look all wavy and kind of like crap. So yeah, don't do that. So as we get further into this build, you can see that I've got the kind of torso together, so I can place the arm and figure out how I want to position it. One thing you'll notice, I'll get to it pretty soon, is that the wrist on Mr. Crowe's left hand here is really, because he's sweeping away in the default pose, it's kind of extended a little bit. And that way, if I bring it higher, it's not going to make sense with the wrist extended. So I'm going to go in and kind of cut off the wrist here so that I can change where it's positioned back up a little bit higher, so that when I have the blade a little bit higher across his face, it's going to make more sense physiologically, I guess. Yeah, so for that, I cut it off with my usual blade, X-Acto knife, and then used just green stuff, put it in there, and then allowed me to kind of twist and position it so that I can figure out a better spot that would make more sense with the pose. Because one of the things I've noticed sometimes when people change poses or the structure to a model, they don't take into account almost like the balance of the model, right? So if, in this case, if I'm swinging a sword, right, I can extend my wrist at the end of the movement, whereas at the beginning of the movement, it's going to be a little bit more bent and towards me, right? That way I've chambered the power of it. I know it's something really simple, and kind of almost a little silly just because it's just a model, but I really try when I'm putting these guys together to make it make sense for the sense of like what they're doing. So if he is, sweeping his blade across, he's not already extended, because that would look funny. If he is standing up on something, right, you want to have the hip a little bit higher, things like that. So here you can see I'm actually getting to the position I kind of want it to be in. I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. Really proud with that the plan at the beginning of the build kind of came through for the rest of it. There was a lot of dry fitting. I think I cut out probably about 45 minutes of additional work on the video, just because I was trying to sit there oh, hey, how do I position this? How do I adjust this piece to make sure that I get the right angle that I'm looking for? So there's not too much left in this build. I know I put together the base. I think I ended up switching out the base a little bit later after this because I wanted something a little bit different. I might highlight that in the next video when I go to paint Castellan Crowe. But for now, I kind of just put him on the original base and just adjusted where he stood. You can see there that there's an actual divot in the base to match the notch in the bottom of his right foot. So I wanted to change kind of where he's standing anyways. And that wraps up basically the build. So here's going to be the reveal. Enjoy. So as you saw, this is kind of the final product. Oh man, kind of broke them as I opened them up. You can see that I used a lot of sticky tack and to put them together. The reason being is, here he is. Yeah. Focus. There we go. Yeah. So the reason being I did it this way with the stick tack. I want to basically take off his arm to be able to paint it properly. I want to be able to, if you can see the sword kind of goes across his face. One of the reasons why I did that was so that I could, when I went in and painted it, I'm going to do some glow off the sword because I want to do some really cool colors. I was thinking of purple or something. Haven't 100% decided. I've seen a lot of really cool versions of the armor where it's a little bit darker than people using yellow, which was also really cool. So, but I wanted to give that option of like with the sword across the front of the face, I can have that real like glow off of it and make the model like, you know, kind of come to life. So I'm obviously going to be doing the white helmet. So the front of the helmet's going to have that nice glow across like the front torso part of the body, which I think will be a really, really cool effect. Yeah, so that was one of the reasons why I wanted to change the pose, and I wanted to make sure that he was a little kind of taller and like climbing up and conquering was the idea. So that's with the repose and kind of just moving the leg just a little bit. I know it's not too much different from the original model, but it's enough that where like, if when I bring it onto the table, someone's really going to notice the difference if they know the models. So anyways, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will be building some more in the next, I believe, Grandmaster Voltus is the next guy. Yeah, we'll see. Anyways, take care. Have a great one.